Any apologies necessary for Angel Reese and the foul that happened that was that resulted in a flagrant as the Indiana Fever took on Chicago Sky. And Caitlin Clark is fouled hard by Angel Reese. It's replayed. It's controversial because it's Angel Reese and because it's the rematch of what we've seen where we see the best of what makes sports great, the rivalries that draw attention, and then the reaction after we're baited into watching exactly what we came to see.
So I have a long-standing philosophy when it comes to professional athletes, and I have an incredible ability to spot out BS when it comes to, oh, this person meant to do that. I feel like I have a really almost extraterrestrial ability to watch footage and tell you whether or not someone intended to do something dirty.
Especially in this era, right?
Yeah, because so often fans want to give the benefit of the doubt to the pro athlete. Draymond Green, this is something with him. We say, I'm like, no, he knew what he was doing.
Yes.
When you step down in that direction, when you move your foot that way.
When you kick up.
This is not just, I'm just getting off the court and my knee happened to go into the crotch of the guy over here. No, that's so very rare that happens. You could tell when someone's not looking or if someone's putting their arms back to box out, there's inadvertent elbows, there's things that happen. Someone gets slapped in the face.
Yep.
Stuff like that happens often. I can see these things right away. Most of the time, I would tell you that Angel Reese and what happened yesterday, and we have the still photo of it also, that what happened yesterday with the foul would be dirty by a lot of professional athletes. I'm going to be completely honest in what I've seen from Angel Reese. I don't think she intended to do it. I don't think she's overly coordinated when her feet are off the ground. I think she was making a play on the ball, and it was a terrible play on the ball because she had no clue where Caitlin Clark was putting the ball because she was way behind it as she swung her arm. These things do happen. Usually I give the benefit of the doubt I don't give the benefit of the doubt to the athlete when they're at that high of a level. They usually kind of know what they're doing. I don't think Angel Reese did in this setting. So I will give her the benefit of the doubt on this one. It was not dirty. It was a play on the ball, albeit a bad one because she's not really close to it, but she did try to make a play on the ball. She's not looking down at her head. She's looking up at the ball. She swings wildly way away from it. I think that's more a lack of coordination off the ground and in the air than it is anything else with Angel Reese. Not a great testament to her ability when she gets off the ground, but also not malicious, and I'm not going to sit here and say that she was out to do something bad to Caitlin Clark. Here's what I know about this rivalry right now. Everyone is playing their part to perfection. I don't think Angel Reese was trying to hurt Caitlin Clark. I don't have any problem with that play in that game. You know who else doesn't have a problem? Caitlin Clark, who continues to play the part of perfect professional athlete where she says all the right things post-game. Hey, it was a basketball play. Doesn't bother me one bit. This physicality out there. I'm a rookie. Not going to let it get to me. I'm going to keep playing my game. And then you have Angel Reese Hutton, who is also willing to play the part by complaining after the game that there is a favorable whistle for Caitlin Clark, essentially saying she's getting Jordan rules.
Some people have a special whistle, I guess.
Some people have a special whistle, I guess, is exactly what she said. Everyone is playing their role to perfection in Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. The other sides of this story, the very predictable media and how they're always going to side with Angel Reese because here is this poor African-American woman being subjected to online brutality by all of these white Caitlin Clark fans all over the country, and how dare they side with Caitlin Clark on this, and this is just a race war that's being battled between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, but they're not in the race war. Everyone else is fighting the race war on either one of their behalf. Maybe a little bit of truth to that. Also ridiculous when it's covered that way. I'll also say this. For all the media that wants to treat Caitlin Clark with kid gloves and act like she's not a willing participant in women's professional basketball, you are shortchanging Caitlin Clark and her toughness. I think a lot of this, we must protect Caitlin. We must put her in a box where no one can tell. If she's hurt, no one's ever going to watch women's basketball again. How dare they play physical with her? How dare she take a shot to the head on a basketball play? We cannot have this. Give me a break. I mean, you want to put the fainting couch down next to everyone every time she gets touched? She's a tough woman that's playing this game at a very high level. I think both sides of it are ridiculous, Hutton, but here's what it does. It keeps me interested. It keeps me interested in this rivalry. I love to see it. Now, the challenge for the WNBA, the W, as Monica McNutt says, my bad. The challenge for the W is to get me to care about the Las Vegas Aces trying to three-peat this year, or to get me to care about anything other than Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. And right now, I really don't, but I care about this. I care about this rivalry.
Did you know they were playing? When did you know they were playing each other again yesterday?
I knew when I saw the tweet about the foul.
Yeah, same. That's
but I still care enough to then go and say, all right, who won the game? And read about it and watch some of the highlights.
But it's the foul that draws your attention, right? It's not the game. They have to. They have the audience. How do they draw in the audience to then watch the game for the game, right? Who's watching the NBA Finals? More because it's just the game and it's the championship, right? But I'm saying I'm tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and they've certainly done a great job of playing the role of needing each other. Both are propped up in a big way because of each other. You're right on the roles. The thing is, though, Caitlin Clark has reached the point where she's so popular, she doesn't even have to say the right things anymore. Those who are on the Caitlin Clark bandwagon would come up with whatever is necessary to continue to stay on the bandwagon. So if she wants to go at it or foul hard now moving forward, it's just, well, everyone else is doing it, so Caitlin's going to do it too, right? She doesn't have to play the role of the perfect response every time, although she will. I mean, I think that's how she's approaching it. And she's taking her lumps there as a rookie in the league and playing well. She's improving game to game, putting up 30, scored, 15? She's averaging 15 or 16 points per game currently. And meanwhile, Angel Reese is doing solid things, but nothing that is out of the ordinary for what we saw in college either. Chad, I view this through this lens. The flagrant foul, what have you.
It was a flagrant after review, too.
After review.
They made it a flagrant one.
No doubt it's a foul, okay?
Yeah, I don't think it should have been a flagrant one.
It's not egregious. And you can tell, I think the reaction on the bench from the highlights I was watching, the reaction there is legit. Other highlights throughout the game, just watching the 3 or 4 minute highlight package of the game, it was a physical game with Caitlin Clark in other areas too. You know, she's getting tied up for a ball, and you've got the arms locked and everything. I mean, I'm drawn into that. I love the hype. And, when these two play each other, not only is there hype going into it, there are headlines after it. It's great. But it doesn't have to be controversial. And in this case, I'm with you. There's no controversy here in terms of intent. Do you swing the arm a little harder because of who it is? I think you just go after the basketball. And in this case, Angel Reese wasn't coordinated enough to do it in the air.
No, and I'm actually posting a link of our show right now. And what I'm saying is there was no malicious intent. It was an uncoordinated and sloppy play on the ball after she left her feet.
Well, can't you tell intent?
It's the best way to describe it. And the reaction on all sides of this is too predictable.
No doubt.
It's become too predictable. And there is a reason that professional wrestling has worked for so long in this country, right? In life, there's nuance, there's gray area, and there's in between. When we are being entertained, we want black and white. We want good versus evil. We want hero versus villain.
Or anti-hero.
At all times, yeah. Now, when we're watching a show of like Breaking Bad with Walter White, we're okay with the anti-hero. But when we're watching sports, boy, we like to get into our corner and defend everything that our person or our team does and vilify everything the other team or person does. Here's the reality about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You got a lot of people who are trying to make Angel Reese some sort of misunderstood hero about everything she does and everything she says. And then you have other people that are trying to turn Caitlin Clark into something that she's not. You know, some sort of debutante, delicate flower that needs to be protected from all physicality. And she's not that either. I've seen her MF players and refs and opposing coaches and taunt other players during games. And I love it. I love Caitlin Clark for that. You can like all of those things and acknowledge the good and the bad with both while also picking a side. I'm not telling people not to do that. You're probably going to side with one or the other in this rivalry, just like everyone out there is going to side with one side of a rivalry or another. Totally fine with that. But when we try to make things really simple and put them into boxes, it gets a little complicated at times. I don't think people are doing a good job of understanding the nuance between the two.
Yeah, there's the nuance. Going back to how she is treated, or fair or unfair, however you would go, whatever side you're on. Chad, at some point, if you grew up with Michael Jordan, at some point you got kind of tired of the positivity, and he kind of grew old on me. But why? Because I was drawn in with Jordan. He won 3 titles. He leaves, and it's just kind of like, and you become fans of someone else. And you come back, and you're almost rooting against the whole storyline, and then you fall in love with him again. Tom Brady. The story of him coming off the bench with Drew Bledsoe to what he was at the end of his Patriots career and the perception of him. The top players. We're going to see it with Mahomes. It's very cyclical, and I don't think we'll see that with Caitlin Clark. But will the fandom last past the drama? We saw it, I'm saying consistently. Game 1 of her WNBA career, awesome ratings. Whenever she's facing someone that's talking some trash, great. She's certainly getting the social media clicks because we're seeing highlights. But are we going to watch because of the rivalry and see live and in person the beauty of sports? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it is, at the end of the day, it's a league that on paper is losing $50 million projected coming up.
Yeah, and that's the challenge. Is I'm all in on Caitlin Clark and the Fever, and I'll follow them. And I love this rivalry.
They won like 4 of 6.
Yeah, it looks like her and Aaliyah Boston actually like each other now, based on their post-game interview together. That's good news for Fever fans everywhere.
Catch it.
Get me to care about the other 11 teams, or get me to care about any game or head-to-head matchup that's not Chicago versus Indiana because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. That's the challenge. This is the entry point for fans to maybe start to pay attention more to the WNBA, but it's a long way away from getting people to care about the whole league.
Well, they need others that will join the Caitlin Clark bandwagon in the league.
Yeah.
The vocal group there, because you've got, like, on one hand, you have all the media, I think everyone knows what I'm saying here. They're leading headlines, the WNBA for the first time. They're leading headlines because of the controversy or the perceived controversy. But if I'm on one side, am I going to care about tuning in to watch one of the players that's on the other side that I'm, complaining about on a daily basis? Probably not. So it ends up hurting you long term, even though it's the Caitlin Clark effect. So I think you have to have the vocal group of the WNBA that will be on Caitlin's side, so to speak, quote unquote. And I mean, you had that throughout the eras of the greatest players, and you always have the villain. And now I think if you want to get your name mentioned in this league, you do it by speaking out against Caitlin Clark. We've talked about
a good way to do it.
But that's how you become a quote unquote brand.
Yeah, you're putting yourself out there as the villain, but you're getting talked about by doing that. I want to go back to this hero and villain thing that the media is casting. Definitely, whatever media you consume, you're seeing different outlets cast one or the other as hero, villain, misunderstood hero, secret villain. Some would cast Caitlin Clark as, right, which I also think is a little bit ridiculous. I was like this way. You mentioned Michael Jordan. I mean, I grew up where Michael Jordan could do no wrong.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I worshiped that guy.
Yep.
And then as I get older as an adult, I'm like, man, he had a gambling problem. He did this, he did that. There's a lot of rumors about why he actually left the NBA to go play baseball. And it's not for the reason that we thought. He's complicated, right? He wasn't a good teammate all the time. I thought of him as this just
the layers,
bold leader, kind to his teammates and just a great competitor who could dunk on you, and then learned how to shoot the outside shot as his career went on and bulked up and became a great defender. And he took his weaknesses and made them strengths, and the dude was complicated. He was an asshole to people. I mean, that's very, very well chronicled now, right? There's nuance to it. Do I like Michael Jordan less today because I know these nuances? Hell no. I still love the guy. There's nuance to Caitlin Clark. There's nuance to Angel Reese. We're still in the very defined hero-villain stage. However you want to look at this from everyone, and I don't believe things are that cut and dry with either one.
Right.
And I do get sick and tired of reading and hearing people that treat her like the WNBA is going to murder her if they don't get this under control and that she can't protect herself.
Right.
What Kennedy Carter did to her was a cheap shot. Do I think that it was going to maim her because she shoulder and hip checked her from behind on a rebound? No. It was over the top. It was a flagrant foul. I've yet to see something where I'm like, boy, they're going to really hurt her bad if that hit happens a certain way. So let's cool it a little bit on that. We're not going to wrap her in bubble tape and roll her out there in every game and say, be sure not to touch sweet Caitlin because the league must have her. She's getting the rookie treatment, and mostly that's fine. And guess what else she's doing? She's playing pretty damn well with it right now.
Yeah, she's playing well. But she had, like 9 points and then turned it on the second half. It was a competitive game by all accounts.
She's the fastest player ever in WNBA history, I think, to 200 points and so many assists, I read. Also, I mean, she's doing fine.
Yeah. So,
guess what? She's still upright.
Yes, and she'll be
somehow
playing again at some point. I believe it's later this week. It'll be Wednesday, or I believe.
Now, I reserve judgment when something crazy happens, right? I haven't seen it yet, but if we see something where it's like, hey,
when we see it, we'll say it. But like, it doesn't mean you're wrong right now.
Right.
That's the point. Like, it's you can be the antagonist without like truly having an intent to injure.
Of course. Look, I don't think Angel Reese is all bad. I don't think that Caitlin Clark is all good. I think they're both very competitive. Now, the way, and this goes back to the roles they're playing, Caitlin Clark plays the media to perfection, to come across as just nothing but professional when she's doing interviews. And yesterday was a great example. She did not roll anyone under the bus, said it was a basketball play, got no issue with it, and was very professional about it. Angel Reese, to me, does not come across that well to the media when she's talking to the media. That's my personal preference of I don't like how she responded to losing in the NCAA tournament after a year of trash talk about how great she was and how she dominated Caitlin Clark and all that. I don't like the way she's responded to certain little controversies. She seems like someone that wants to play the role of the villain, but then hates when people treat her like the villain.
Well, she wants to play the role of the girl that gets the attention.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't think she cares about playing the hero or the villain. I think she just wants the same.
She wants the recognition and respect that Caitlin Clark gets.
And appreciation.
Yeah. She thinks it's more 50-50 of what they've done for the game and not mostly Caitlin Clark.
And she was a part of the storyline that continues to, I mean, again, because this was Angel Reese makes it more of a headline. And it makes it more of a reaction that the media there want to ask her about, like they did post-game yesterday.
On the flagrant, did you feel like that?
The basketball play.
Yeah. Did you feel like that was the appropriate call or more?
It's a basketball play. I can't control the refs. They affected the game, obviously, a lot tonight. So, can't.
You know, and then her reaction whenever she pushed off to get the rebound. Obvious foul call. No-brainer, and she's complaining about that. But again, all the leagues have those types of players.
That was, and that I'll side with it. That was a play on the ball. That was a basketball play.
Yes.
Now, shoving someone to the ground when they're not really looking at you, that's not really a basketball play.
Boxed out, and you put your hands on the back and shove.
It's also not something that is going to get her sent to jail.
No,
for shoving someone on the basketball court. So, I think some of the reaction and response is overblown and ridiculous, but it plays right in to exactly what the WNBA wants right now, and that is attention. And they're getting it because of these two. I still see Angel Reese as part of the catalyst of jumping Caitlin Clark into a different stratosphere. But I give her about as much credit as I would give the Detroit Pistons bad boys players to Michael Jordan being a superstar.
Well,
Caitlin Clark is in a different universe
but the
than Angel
difference
Reese
is
is star.
But the NBA was already there. You know what I mean? When that was going on. Like, this is women's college basketball is what I'm going back to, because
Magic Bird, though, were equals
Magic
in
Bird,
a rivalry.
But we were talking about Iowa and LSU women's basketball after a championship game and then discussed it for a year.
Yeah, she was the catalyst.
And if not for her, I'm talking about Angel Reese, if not for that part of the story, the hype and the build to what it became would not be the same. You'd still be chasing some records, and it'd still be a big story, but not to the level of discussion across the United States on whether or not it was a cheap play. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a part of the show. It wouldn't lead the show.
Yeah.
Because of Bryson DeChambeau yesterday.
Right. It's a big part of it, but I'm still giving about 80% credit to Caitlin Clark and breaking the record. And
but
maybe
giving
20%
to anything with Caitlin Clark is a big piece.
Hey, she was the catalyst that started the biggest fire.
Oh.
With women's basketball in college last year. She was part of that.
Passing the story of yesterday at the U.S. Open, which we're getting to, is big. How about the fact that no one cares about Game 5 tonight in the NBA? I say no one. I mean, some watching this will. But we're leading with a regular season game between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever.
I just want to see how mad Brian Windhorst gets if Luka doesn't play defense tonight. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, he's a loser in life.
I mean, what else is he going to say? You know, I actually talked to some of Luka's close family after this game, and they would like to disown him as a member of their family based on this defensive effort
an intervention
on this play. Please roll the camera on this play right here that I want to show everyone. To show you exactly what happened.
How about what happened yesterday at Pinehurst, number 2? Bryson DeChambeau, 2-time winner now of the U.S. Open. Rory McIlroy with another major giveaway. DeChambeau, clutch. Even when he was getting lucky off the tee, clutch. And what he did at 18 was fantastic out of the bunker. And Rory, what he did on the green on the final holes there, choking. He bogeyed 3 of the last 4. One from nearly 3 feet, just over 2 feet, and one that was more or less 4 feet.
Slightly over 3, yeah.
And think about the visual here of what we're seeing. And it's not as big a part of the story, but it's huge for Bryson DeChambeau because Rory McIlroy, you don't have to rewind that far. He's the voice of the PGA Tour. He's who everyone went to talk about and talk to. And Bryson DeChambeau is now the leader of LIV. If players truly have a say in this whole LIV PGA relationship, he is now the head of the table. Look at the number of fans and the reaction and the fervor and just the attention that he garners off the course, and then he's winning on it. Chad, the reaction when he was picked as one of the players to play against, it was Koepka. There was a rivalry there with him and Koepka whenever they went to play the match with, was it Brady and Barkley?
Yep.
They were playing with. It was kind of like, Bryson, he's boring. Everyone was on Team Koepka. It's opposite now. And he's wearing a Crushers hat, his team. No one knows his team name in LIV. It's the Crushers. I had to look this up too. He's wearing that to the point where he honors Payne Stewart, which was genuine. Puts the hat on that Tirico gave him for maybe, 10 seconds? Maybe I'm being generous there. And then immediately puts the LIV cap back on. That's not by accident. You have the LIV players coming up to congratulate him. Sergio's one of them that we see. He's using these clubs that were approved just before the Masters, I believe. The LA Golf Bryson series that they've come up with. His transformation on and off the course is remarkable to me. And it's playing out to where he goes from hated, like genuinely booed at any point, to now he's adored. They're asking him questions. The fans are yelling out things from his podcast or his YouTube channel. All in the span of about 2 years, he's gone from, here's this guy that, shut up. Get out of here. We don't care about you, Bryson. We're tired of hearing from you, too. We're subscribers. We're bought in. And that was all whenever the LIV controversy was going on. And that brings me to this whole Liv saga, too. It has me asking questions because we're going to get a front row seat to this week here in Nashville. Can Liv make the same transformation in the short time frame that Bryson DeChambeau has done? Their top star right now. I think they're already on their way because they're coming to Nashville this week, Chad. We're going to be there on Thursday, by the way, for the Pro-Am. Clay's playing in it. U.S. Open champion's coming. And it's likely going to be, I don't know the ratings, and I can laugh at this too, likely going to be the most watched live event, period, because of Bryson. But Nashville's back in the spotlight yet again. And so is DeChambeau, and I don't think it's even really close right now. In those 2 years, he has amassed 2.5 million social media followers. And the thing that's most impressive is just that 180-degree persona that he's done. And it's not like he was the immature teenager turned college player turned PGA Tour player, and he had to grow and mature. He's done all this after, the age of 30. Because you go from the wrong reasons to the right reasons. He's done this and after he won a major and after he was 2-0-1 in the 2021 Ryder Cup. He was already kind of winning, and now he's combined that with star power. And he was the arrogant guy who's now just cocky. No, excuse me, he's confident, not cocky. I think that's how I describe him now. And I think he was viewed the other way not that long ago. I don't know how to describe him or compare him to someone else currently because of how he's reacted, how he's transformed his body, he's all in, he's locked in, and he's doing it his way, man. He was likable. And the fact he's so likable and it's just easy to like the guy after it was easy to hate the guy, I mean, props. And I don't think he's going anywhere.
Well, really good week for us to be at the Live event at the Grove later this week. So I'm excited about that with the U.S. Open champion coming off that win. It is remarkable to see his connection with a crowd. I mean, that was Tiger-level cheering at times.
But they would
for Bryson
boo him
DeChambeau.
so much. You know?
Remember when him and Brooks Koepka were at it?
Yeah.
And they were talking trash about each other in various interviews and all that?
I mentioned the match, yeah.
And everyone took up for Brooks Koepka on that one
Team
and hated
Koepka.
Bryson DeChambeau. And now I would argue that Bryson DeChambeau is more likable than Brooks Koepka.
He is. Yes.
When you look at the two of them.
He's absolutely more likable.
He did a remarkable job of transforming everything about his public persona. And when that mic clicked on yesterday, I kept looking for the old Bryson DeChambeau to reappear, and he never did. That guy was incredible as a speaker when he won and what he said about the crowd and how I want everyone here to come and touch this trophy because you had a part of this week. This crowd was unbelievable. The emotion when he won it, I mean, I'm thinking Tiger Woods fist pump. That was double fist pump, screaming into the air, going nuts.
Payne Stewart.
Going off the course. Brought out the Payne Stewart hat with Mike Tirico in the end. That Crushers hat also. We joked last week, I don't know how you're ever going to get me into the team element of Live. That logo on that hat might get me into it.
We're
because
noticing
that
it
is
now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yes. Smart also marketer that he put that Payne Stewart hat down and put his sponsored Crushers team hat back on for the entirety of the rest of that interview. Really, really job well done by him, everyone around him, of being more likable. He's only 30 years old right now. And 2 U.S. Open wins now. It's just him and Scottie Scheffler. They're the only 2 players to finish in the top 10 of the first 3 majors of the year. Pretty good company right now with Bryson DeChambeau as they get ready for the Open Championship at Royal Troon as the final major of the year. Flip side of this, Rory McIlroy. 21 top 10 finishes in the last 10 years in between major championships. 21 times. He has played well enough to finish in the top 10 and has not won a major championship. Hutton, you missed it. A putt under 4 feet and a putt under 3 feet. One of those falls and you're in a playoff, at least. To both of them fall, you're the U.S. Open champion. I don't have a strong opinion about him bolting from the tournament. I wanted to ask you about this, Hutton, to get your response to it also. There's a lot of people that are critical of Rory McIlroy for just taking off, getting out of there before the celebration even happens with Bryson DeChambeau and getting on a jet. I think he said within an hour He was on a plane out of there. If he was a team sport athlete that screwed something up, I would take issue with him not facing the media and doing his responsibility with that. When you are an individual contractor that's basically paying your way to go to the tournament and are a part of it, but you can kind of do what you want, I don't know that I have a strong opinion about him leaving the way he did.
I don't. I don't have a problem with it yesterday. I give him a pass yesterday because he deserves one after being used by the PGA Tour. Straight
good point.
Used.
Good point.
And he spoke about it at every turn. He spoke out against Liv at every turn on behalf of the PGA Tour. And then after being used, he's available. The PGA Championship, he's coming off the course discussing why he's not on the players committee and whether or not he was kept off because of Tiger. And he's talking about that after coming off the course and playing in that tournament. What happened yesterday, though, is something that is a trend. It's more than a trend. It's just a part of the whole Rory McIlroy, here we are at another major moment.
The Rory experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's I cheer on the guy. But at the same time, I feel awful for him. And it's also irritating. To the point where you can see the reaction when he missed that second putt. Because the first one, he's like, okay, he's trying to not let it get in his head. These misses, these chances, 100% mentally break him down. They're even, I was watching last night, some are saying, like, I don't know if he's rebounding from this. I don't know how you come back from this. There was one former PGA Tour player saying, I was like, what? Really? Off of one tournament? That's the ride that he's been on, and it continues. I don't think it, I guess I agree with the guy, because he's saying, like, I guess, yeah, I mean, has he come back from it? He's won, but it sucks, man. And if this attitude continues, I wouldn't like it. But, I mean, I've heard from this guy in some real moments where it wasn't all that great, and he was almost the butt of the joke on behalf of 3 or 4 people up top at PGA Tour. And it's also in the middle of this emotional relationship going on with he and his wife.
Yeah.
And he was last week.
They were filing for divorce, and they weren't.
He was filing for divorce, and he's playing well when they're reconciling. So I don't know what all the mental makeup is there. All I know is he lost by a stroke and missed 2 gimmies. That, I mean, most of us at our, you've got the goat pastures we all play in at the local country clubs. I could hit a 2-footer, or at least one of the 2. I don't know about hitting both in the moment, but, I mean, he's chasing. You've got DeChambeau, who's coming back to the pack, and Rory's, here he comes, and they were neck and neck. The odds in Vegas were right there with each other. Yeah, I feel bad for the guy, honestly, more than I do think he's a prick for leaving.
It's hard not to have empathy for Rory in this situation. I was on with Dan Dockich earlier, and he asked me, he said, I struggle with this. Is it a choke job? Is it not? And I said, yeah, by the definition of choking, he choked.
Oh, yeah.
On 2 putts under 4 feet. The weight, and it's not like it was a problem all weekend. He had not done that on putts under 5 feet the entire tournament.
No, even more than that. There
was
is a stat
money
that is
on
insane.
those putts. So when that happens on 16 and 18,
let me find it.
Then yeah, it's a choke job, and I hate that for him. But you got to call it what it is. He choked, and there is a part of me. We don't talk about Liv versus PGA anymore because the merger's happening, and I think mostly everyone's moved on. I don't feel this animosity between Liv guys and PGA guys when they're playing in majors together. Hutton, do you see any animosity between them?
No.
I don't see much of that at all, right? But if you're Rory McIlroy and at one point you were offered so much money to leave and you were convinced to stay because that was the quote-unquote right thing to do, and you see someone who left and took all the money and then still beats you and comes through in the clutch with that shot out of the rough on 18, the way Bryson DeChambeau does, it is a natural human instinct to feel like, boy, that's not justice. I should be holding that trophy. I should be the winner. I did what was right. He took the money and ran, and he still won the U.S. Open, and I didn't. Whether that's true or not, I'm saying if you're Rory McIlroy in that moment, that's how I'd feel. I would feel that way. I was suckered into this. I did what was right for the PGA Tour. Here are the guys who we were told, boy, they're not going to be allowed in PGA events. They may not be in majors. They may not be that. They have betrayed their country. They betrayed the PGA, all of this. I carried that torch for the PGA Tour. They got paid. I didn't, and I just lost to a guy who got paid. That's tough if you're Rory McIlroy.
And winning another.
It's tough.
No doubt. But more than that, I don't even think it's about his opponent. I think it's about within doing this. Missing on another major opportunity where he's finished in all these top tens. But here's the stat on the putting. It's more than just this major or this weekend. Entering the 16th hole yesterday, Rory McIlroy was 496 of 496 on putts within 3 feet. That's a choke job. 496 of 496.
He was, entering it or
entering the 16th hole yesterday. He was 496 of 496 on putts within 3 feet.
So he had been having problems with that before. Because I thought he was actually putting well. And then he choked on those too.
So he hit them all. So, I mean, man. And then losing by 1 stroke. And the camera's on you to watch the reaction too, which is, I mean, that's the drama we want.
Yep.